Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. We are back with the Indian English Literature, a historical overview, part 4. Today we will talk about the emergence of epic poetry in Indian English writing. The emergence of epic poetry in Indian English writing. The tradition of writing epic in Indian English poetry can be traced back to the 19th century, with poets attempting to craft grand narratives that fuse the classical Indian storytelling with Western poetic forms. Michael Madhusudan Dutt's work, Meghnad Bad Kavya, though written in Bengali, demonstrated the possibility of epic poetry in a modern Indian context, inspiring bilingual and English poets alike. Aurobindo Ghosh's work, Savitri, a Legend and a Symbol, is a monumental example of an Indian English epic presenting a mystical and philosophical exploration of Indian spirituality. The work, inspired by the Mahabharata, extends into metaphysical themes, blending Indian mysticism with Western poetic structures. His poetic works reflect deep spiritual insight, emphasizing self-discovery and transcendence. The epic impulse in Indian English poetry emerged from a need to reclaim Indian mystic heritage in an era of colonial domination. Early poets envisioned the English language as a tool to re-articulate India's ancient wisdom for a global audience. Henry Derozio's historical imagination and a patriotic zeal laid the groundwork for the heroic tone in later Indian epics. The blending of Western epic form and Indian narrative rhythm gave rise to a unique hybrid tradition. Aurobindo's Savitri stands as a cosmic epic, transcending the historical to explore the spiritual evolution of humanity. Its 24,000 lines make it one of the longest epics in English, written in meditative blank verse. Aurobindo's vision fuses Vedantic philosophy, Platonic idealism, and a Dantean symbolism. The poem transforms the myth of Savitri and Satyavan into an allegory of consciousness overcoming death. The influence of John Milton's Paradise Lost and Shelley's visionary poetics is evident in its grandeur. Savitri established the foundation for a distinctly Indian metaphysical modernism. Ramesh Chandra Dutt's Ramayana and Mahabharata renderings in English verse popularized India's epic spirit among English readers. Dutt's work, The Lake of Slams and a Lays of Ancient India, expanded the idea of moral heroism within the English poetic tradition. Toru Dutt's Ancient Ballads and Legends of Hindustan presents miniature epic narratives filled with a mythic resonance. Her reworking of myths like Sita and Lakshmana creates emotional universality through epic compression. Manmohan Ghosh's work, Love Songs and Elegies, hints at a metaphysical journey akin to an inward epic. Harindranath Chattopadhyay's work, The Feast of Youth and a Strange Journey, explores spiritual heroism through long meditative sequences. P. Lal's transcreation of the Mahabharata into modern English idiom preserves the oral epic cadence. A.K. Ramanujan's Prayers to Lord Murugan reimagines devotion as an inner heroic dialogue. K. Raghava Menon's long poems draw on Upanishadic thought, turning spiritual quest into narrative structure. R. Parthasarathy's rough passage functions as a contemporary self-epic of alienation, identity, and linguistic exile. Jayanta Mahapatra's relationships serves as a modern metaphysical epic, tracing the poet's link to his ancestral land. K. N. Darwala's work, Crossing of Rivers and a Map Maker, blend history and myth to depict a collective struggle. Shiv K. Kumar's work, Subterfuges and Traps Walls in the Sky, articulate the epic journey of modern individual through irony. Meena Alexander's work, Illiterate Heart and a Raw Silk, express an inner epic of migration and memory. Rukmini Baya Nayar's work, The Hybrid Born, transforms myth into feminist reinterpretation, expanding the epic voice. Arundhati Subramanian's When God is a Traveler engages directly with the archetype of the journey, echoing ancient epic quests. Dom Moray's work, John Norbury and a Serentive, embody the modernist epic spirit of exile and self-confrontation. Eunice D'Souza's poetic voice turns the epic inward, using irony to expose spiritual alienation. The epic form in Indian English poetry often replaces gods and their barriers with their seekers, migrants, and thinkers. The evolution from nationalistic to spiritual and psychological epics reflects India's broader intellectual journey. Post-independence poets like Dilip Chitra and G. Patel use their long poems to explore civilizational continuity and a moral conflict. R. K. Singh's work, Sexless Solitude, and Gopi Krishnan Kotu's work, Father Wakers in the Passing, display epic intensity in exploring human suffering. The modern Indian English epic often mirrors the Upanishadic journey from ignorance, that is avidya, to enlightenment, that is vidya. English, once the colonizer's language, becomes the very medium of India's mythic and spiritual reassertion. The epic in Indian English poetry is not merely historical, it is experiential, philosophical, and inner directed. Contemporary poets continue the epic impulse through ecological and feminist rereadings of ancient myths. Tishani Doshi's work, Girls Are Coming Out of the Woods, transforms collective trauma into an epic of survival. Jeet Thail's work, These Errors Are Correct, captures the grandeur of modern decadence through rhythmic elevation. Vivek Narayanan's work, After, reimagines the Ramayana through a postmodern lens, sustaining the epic dialogue in a contemporary idiom. The epic tradition in Indian English poetry thus becomes a mirror of India's spiritual evolution from colonial anxiety to global humanism. Each era reinvents the epic mode, from Aurobindo's cosmic vision to Subramaniam's existential quest and Thail's modern fragmentation. The genre continues to unify India's diverse literary voices through its enduring themes of struggle, transcendence, and inner illumination.